So guys, I promised you I was gonna do episode 2 of the land commercialization take. So we are here in another side of Midrand. In fact, one of the few places in Midrand that are yet to be developed. If you look to my left, that is like bordering on four ways. And then if you look up there, that's Stain City. And if you come around, that's the edge of Kyalami. And I wanted us to come look at this because my first episode I focused a lot more on the assistance that we need the government to give us, but remember guys, it's a two-way street. The government meets you halfway, so there's another half that we need to take as entrepreneurs, and this is the other half that I want to talk about, because this is not about trashing government or criticizing government. It's about coming up with solutions, because that's what entrepreneurs and innovators do. They come up with solutions, not just problems. So back to the subject, I spoke about Stain City, I spoke about Four Ways, I spoke about Kyalami. You would know, and I don't know how many of us are aware, and we should be aware if we are entrepreneurs, that before Stain City was Stain City that it is now, this is how it was. It was exactly like this, and all that had to be done was for a TLB to come and till this place, and somebody to make it look nice, do some landscaping, and I'll do another take on things like that, and how we bypass some of these costs as entrepreneurs, because some of the things that we complain that they're expensive, we shouldn't be buying in the first place. They are naturally given resources to us, the rocks, the vegetation, things that make things look that add value, so that when you commercialize, the price is more than when you bought it. So I wanted to encourage us, because I know everybody wants to buy things that are already ready. We have a tendency to not invest in things that are raw, in raw materials, and that is where the West and civilization sometimes comes to beat us as Africans, because they take things, they'll take something that is raw and convert it into something completely different. I mean, you can imagine the house that is going to be by this valley here. If you go to your likes of Blue Valleys, Valley Views, even Stain City, I think the biggest stand is 1,000 square meters. In the estate here with the biggest stands, it's Saddlebrook, which will give you a maximum of 1 hectare per stand. And if you look at this place, I think it's around 20 hectares at most. And if 1 hectare is going for 5 million, you can do the math. But imagine how many houses you can build here. You can imagine the estate that you can create here, and you don't have to start this big. Of course, we are going to do a session of the steps you take in order to get here, because you're not just going to start from a flat, renting a flat or paying a bond of 5,000 rand and want to buy a place this big. Of course, there are steps that you should take, but that's a conversation for the next time or another episode. So why I'm saying this is because I want to inspire us as entrepreneurs to say, if you're earning a salary, if you're working in a company that's paying you 1 million rands per annum, and you're getting a pay slip of a take home of 50,000 rands or a take home of 40,000 rands, rather than go and buy a house where you're just going to live, yes, it's an asset, but if in terms of maximizing your profit, the best would be to buy a place like this, where you can get 1,000 houses and multiply your profit 1 million times. So the other thing I wanted to touch on is the idea of the vacant lands. We know that the banks don't fund vacant lands, and that's another thing that I need our government to look at, because right now, if you go to the bank and you want to apply for this, they're not gonna fund you on this. So I think that is where our government comes in to complement the commercial products that are already there. So I really want to encourage us as Africans to say, let's look at raw materials. If we're talking raw materials, we're not just talking raw diamonds, raw gold, raw coal. This is a raw material. This land is a raw material. Whether you build a shopping mall, or you build a residential estate, or you build flats, or you build whatever, that is when now you've commoditized it, and you can sell it with extra value. You can sell it for 20 times or 1,000 times for generations to come what you bought it with. Thank you.